So look at Hi everybody, it's Moto Weasel 66 here. The other day I was talking to my father-in-law and I was telling him that I needed to get the oil changed in Green GERDIE before the 2021 riding season. And he said to me, "Weasel, what kind of oil are you using that thing?" I said, "Well, I buy the oil from India and I get a kit from them." He goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You just don't go buy your oil from the auto parts store?" I said, "Well, no." I said, I just buy a kit." He goes, "Well, what weight is that oil?" I said, "Well, Dan, I honestly don't know." He says, "You don't know what weight that oil is?" And I said, "No, sir. It doesn't say anything on that container about it." He goes, "Well, I think you better check into it." He goes, "Because I believe you could save yourself $1 or $2. And do you know what? He was right. Okay, so I decided to try to figure out what weight oil the Indian was. Now, of course, I did like most folks do. I got on Google and I looked around and I went on YouTube and figured out that it was a 2050 weight oil. But a lot of folks, we take it for granted if we work on stuff. A lot of folks don't understand what that weight of that oil means or what that number is on that oil. So I'm going to give you a really quick kind of the weaselology of how to understand what you read on oil. So let's look at this oil as an example. Now, this by no means do I put this in Green GERDIE. I use this in my lawnmower and my snowblower. But anyways, we want to look at these numbers on here. What do these numbers translate to for us? Of course, we've got conventional. Conventional is a basic petroleum base oil. It is like for gasoline engines. It is just basic oil. It's nothing fancy. So let's go to the 10W30. Well, this 10W, that stands for the winter. The W is the winter. That's the viscosity of this oil that's tested at sub-zero temperatures. So as this oil is in a colder atmosphere, it is a thinner oil. It will flow easier. It will lubricate those parts. Now, as the temperature rises, this oil will perform like a 30 weight oil, and that's tested up to like 220 degrees. So it's summertime. So you can think of this as winter weight, summer weight. Thinner, thicker. Now you may say, "Well, Weasel, I see oil out there all the time that's just a 30 weight oil or a 50 weight oil. Why can't I put that in my motorcycle?" Well, the problem with that is remember what we talked about, the thinner weight, the thicker weight. You go putting a 50 weight oil, straight weight is what they call it, oil in your motorcycle, and when it's cold outside, it's not going to lubricate those parts. Same if you put too thin of a weight of oil in there. When it gets really hot, it's just going to be like running piss through that engine. It's not going to lubricate and keep that engine cool. So you know what that means. Especially if your bike's out of warranty, it's going to grenade that engine, and that's going to be it. And you're going to be looking at a very expensive bill. But we all kind of know that. Oil is important to the health of an engine. Okay, so let's also talk about, I just mentioned about conventional. This particular oil here from Indian, it's a semi-synthetic oil. What's the difference? You hear conventional, semi-synthetic, or blend. Blend is another word. Or full synthetic. I think full synthetic is called like a class 4 oil. And correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments if I am. But anyways, you got conventional oil, blended oil. Blended oil is required that 30% of this oil be a synthetic oil. Synthetic oils are manufactured in a lab. They are basically at a molecular structure. They're designed to withstand certain certain things that the manufacturer wants them to do. So basically, they're building a Frankenstein. Think of this as Frankenstein oil. It's a little bit of petroleum, a little bit synthetic, and this is going to keep the cost lower, obviously, than a full synthetic. Because if anybody's bought full synthetic, you know the cost of it. And this is going to operate better than a conventional, but not as well as a full synthetic. The advantages to synthetic oil over conventional. Well, synthetic oil, you can go longer between oil changes, which is a plus. Plus also, it's little polymers and things that are built inside of there. It can resist heat a lot better, and especially like on a bike like Green GERDIE here that really is a little furnace when the temperature gets really hot outside. I need something that won't break down as quick. And I don't know if you folks have ever noticed that if you're riding along in your motorcycle, if you're out, running at a really high temperature, you may hear a little bit more tapping noise. Oil. It's may not be that it's low on oil, it's that, she's hot. You may say, hey, Weasel, why can't I just use a standard engine oil? Or why shouldn't I use a standard engine oil in there? Well, if you go to our parts store and look around, they have motorcycle-specific oils. These motorcycle-specific oils have been designed that they do not allow the clutch to slip, because most of our motorcycles, the engine and the transmission, use the same oil. The standard automotive oil that doesn't have motorcycle-specific letters on there, it actually has a additive, or I don't know the term they use for it, but it's got a modifier in there that makes it so an engine in a car or a truck can idle smoother. So we don't want that. We want some friction to happen with our car. So something else I need to add to this, if your bike is obviously under warranty, yeah, you definitely want to take it back to the manufacturer or use their specific kits. Most of us will buy a kit, like I'll buy a kit from Indian, or I'll ship it in from Amazon. That's Indian specific, but after this oil change that I have here, I will go to a high quality synthetic blend, and I'll get my oil filter from, probably going to have to order that off of Amazon. But it's going to be a lot cheaper, or should I say inexpensive, to use the motor oil. Okay, everybody, well, this video is running kind of long, so I'm going to break it down into a part 1 and part 2. The second part's going to actually be me changing the oil on GERDIE on this Thunderstoke 111. So if you're interested in that, be sure to tune in. And also, if you would do me a favor, please, I want you to hit like and subscribe, and please comment. And remember, keep your feet on the pegs and your face in the wind.